Hello and welcome to another video of another quite old-ish Figuarts. I say old, this is out in 2012, so 7 years. That's very old in terms of Figuarts years because in just a few years the Figuarts design and philosophy has improved quite a lot. So how well would this figure stand up against some of the more modern Figuarts these days? This figure is essentially the exact same body as the regular Fourze. It's just got different colors and an extra rocket there, and an effects part. Say that's something you don't get anymore with new figures, so that's nice, I guess. But how does the build and quality stand up against modern figures? This Fourze figure is pretty much just a repaint of the original figure. The only difference here being that, of course, it has a special rocket switch right there, but the rest of the figure is the exact same mold. They, of course, have painted the entire body in a different color. He's got this orange, reddish orange color going on, as well as the eyes being blue instead of the regular, well, orange, because that would look quite boring if his eyes had the exact same color as the rest of the suit. And yep, transstamp right here, and the circle thing there to hide the screws, I guess. This is still from the era before, you know, the new technologies or new ways that they design Figuarts, especially with the real bone stuff. So yeah, this has a lot of that stuff from their old design philosophies. He is slightly skinnier than regular Figuarts these days, but hey, what are you gonna do? He's still a huge improvement over the O's line though, so that's nice. These switches here are also way more tight and secure than all the other ones. I wonder if that will get worse over time. Aside from the fists already on the figure, he also comes with a pair of relaxed hands and a pair of switch pressing hands. And of course he comes with the two rockets to complete his form. These two pieces are the exact same. Well, especially this one. These two pieces are the exact same piece they would have gotten with the regular Fourze figure and the rocket that you got in there. The only difference is that this one has an orange finish, whereas this one has a white finish like the original. You also get this special effects part that I think is not in the original figure, and I think you can also get this piece in the effects set with one of the boxes. So how do you use this? Well, you just get one of these. I'm guessing this one because, you know, punch hand, and you just remove these pegs one by one. They're all not on the same piece. Come on, that's quite tight. There we go. And then you just slot this in. Come on. Oh, I think that's it. Alright, and then of course you get his arm. You pull that off, and then you get his arm in there. Come on, go in. And then, you know, you can do like special effects poses with him. His arm can't hold it up, it's too heavy. That's pretty much ruins the entire point of this thing. I guess if you have him in certain poses. Oh, well, that's still working, I guess. So let's just get rid of this and put the regular stuff back on. Now, my original Fourze figure's joints have become loose over time, so I definitely need to do stuff to, you know, fix it and make it tight again. So the special effects part is a definite no-go for that. As of right now, this figure can hold up the regular rockets on its own. It's just the special effects part was just really, really heavy. And I'm not sure, even if I tighten the joints, will the joints be strong enough to hold it up? It just doesn't feel like it. I have to, like, just really thicken up the joints to maybe even stand a chance at holding it up. As of right now, that's not happening. And despite this figure being an old figure, it was pretty much brand new. Like, it's never been posed, never been played with or displayed. So this is essentially still, aside from the box being open for like checking, this is still essentially a new figure. And if the new figure can't hold up the special effects part right from the get-go, that's a huge bummer. That almost makes the special effects kind of pointless. So as for me personally, I don't really use special effects parts for my photos, maybe sometimes. So overall, I'm not too bummed out, but for people who just want to display this figure with the rocket firing out, that's gonna be a disappointment. Double neck joint here, look a little bit down and a little bit up. That's surprisingly tight for how much room he should have. Sideways, sideways, full rotation here. Arm's got that dumbbell joint inside, no shoulder pads because this is like permanently attached to it. So the hinge there, which is for the most part hidden quite well because of the black color. and full rotation here. You can see that even now it's still kind of loose. And oh, this is bad. This joint rotates the piece inside there with it, so which is useful for hiding the joint, but yeah, that's annoying. Upper arm rotation here, double elbow joint, and of course this piece does rotate, and on the hands part, the regular hand, you do have a peg and swivel like most Figuarts. It also goes quite far back, quite far forward. There is upper joint here, but it's really tight and secure, but doesn't hinder the overall figure articulation too much. That's fine. Sideways, sideways. Legs goes down, quite far down, up, back, up, sideways. It's when looking at these right now, I'm thinking like after O's, is he gonna be the next real bone figure? Because his upgrade would make quite a big difference. Do these switches come off? Yeah, these are still the same mode as the regular Fourze figure, so these switches can come off. This hinge is still tight. Again, on the regular figure, this becomes quite loose, so you're gonna have to thicken up the joints, I guess. So anyway, rotation here. I will say that these joints are okay, despite not having the shine to them. They are okay. They're not too distracting. Double knee joint. And does this come off like regular figures? Yep, this is the exact same mode, so that still comes off. But I am glad that the joints follow the correct color of the figure. If this was back in the year of when Double came out, they would have just used like black joints or something, it'll look really bad. Or white joints. Foot down, foot up. Let's see, toes up, toes don't go down. Foot goes sideways and sideways. I got this figure for a really cheap and discounted price from its original retail price. I think it was just like almost half the price. For that, I'm quite happy. I like the color of this form. I just like the design of this form overall. So I was quite happy to pick this up quite quickly on one of the Facebook sellers and some of the Hong Kong trading sites. So that's awesome. But if you bought this back then at the original price, I guess it's okay. But looking at it now, this figure really doesn't stand up with the quality of SH Figuarts these days. They have improved every year, just so much. So judging this from when it was released, it's a decent figure. Judging it now, it does leave a little bit to be desired for, but for the way it moves, it poses and articulates, it's still a very fun toy to play around with. One of the things with newer Figuarts is you sometimes have to worry if you're gonna break it or not, whereas this, you can easily mess around with it, even throw it around and it should be fine. Like, it does feel very secure, it does feel very strong and durable in the hand when posing him around and playing around with him. One of the other Fourze figures that I'm interested in finding and picking up is Naoshishiko, like the female rider. Would be nice to find her, but sometimes I see her on for sale, but she's never that cheap. If I can see a good price, I'll definitely snap her up. Comparing this to some of the other Fourze figures, he's okay. He's good painted, good molded, and overall pretty fun to play around with. So that's that. To be honest, it doesn't quite stand up against some of the other Figuarts these days. He's way too skinny and the proportions do look a little bit off, but depending how you photo the figures and how you angle them, he should look okay. But of course, this is one of those figures that's probably dying for a new revision, like a real bone version, and if that comes out, he's gonna look very different from these ones. But the overall look and playability, the movements and joints are quite nice, the coloring is pretty decent, and the accessory count is, I think, just enough. If you do have some of the other Fourze figures, of course, since it's the same base figure, you can swap the joints, swap the hands around. But if you just have this figure, his hands do seem a little bit on the lacking side, but he does have the little rocket special effects part here, which is quite nice. His joints are a little bit on the loose side, and he was not able to hold up the rocket with the effects part, so you're definitely going to need like a stage arm just to lift that up and to support it. Otherwise it's just going to keep dropping down, and this isn't a joint that can easily fix with like a super glue thing. So yeah, that can be quite annoying. Swapping the little rocket exhaust with the effects parts is also quite annoying, because every rocket bit you have to pull out, and there's 5 of them, and then you put the effects part in, after you take the photos, take the effects part out, and you're going to slot all 5 back in it again. It gets a little bit annoying. And you also need to get 1 effects part when you comes with 2 rockets. Come on guys. But otherwise, for the price I paid for this, I think it's only like 200 Hong Kong. I can't really complain, like that's really cheap. Cheaper than its original price, and I think that's pretty decent. If you like Fourze and you find this on cheap, I do think this is a very nice form, a nice alternative to some of the other regular forms. I didn't keep Fire, Elect, or Magnet, but I'm definitely keeping this one, because I do quite like this form compared to some of the other ones. I have no interest in picking up his Meteor Fusion or Naoshishiko cluster forms, but if you like those colors, yay. and the suit was recently reused in CEO for Kamen the Ginga. What a pointless character, that was a terrible episode. But anyway, getting sidetracked. Okay, and I figure if you can get this for cheap and if you like Fourze, otherwise easy pass. Subscribe, suggestion, comment below, and of course take care, have a nice day. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye now.